Alrighty, 8th graders, let's keep working on our perspective. So far we have drawn a sidewalk in perspective. We have put in sidewalk blocks with a second dimension, so it looks like you can walk up onto the step. We've added our first building, which of course is the largest building, starting with the center line. And then we added a door. Now we're going to put a window over on this side of the building. So we're working on the left side. The first thing we're going to do to start any window is create a vertical line, because we're going to be working on the left side. We're going to take our T-square, line up with the center, and slide it just a little bit to the left. We always want to start close to the center line. The building is going to look best if the lines are the same length on both sides. So what I've done is I've drawn two lines, two vertical lines, and I'm going to make sure they're just about, oh, this one's a little too big, 1.5 inches. As soon as I draw a vertical line, I'm going to put a dot at the top, a dot at the bottom, a dot at the top, and a dot at the bottom. Those dots are reminders that I'm going to the other dot in the composition, which is the vanishing point. Now, we have to figure out where we want those windows to stop. We're not going to stop them at the edge of the building. Instead, we're going to just make a very light guideline, just a little bit off the side. Now let's begin to make our windows. Take your T-square, flip it onto its belly, put your pencil like a skyscraper on the vanishing point on the left side, because we're working on the left side of the building. So we're going to take our T-square, slide it to the pencil, rotate the T-square as if it was a clock, and stop at the dot, and then draw a line. Rotating the T-square, keeping it on the vanishing point, stopping at the dot, draw a line. Rotate the T-square, stop at the dot, draw a line. Rotate the T-square, stop at the dot, draw a line. Now we're going to make the vertical lines. There we go. Now we have two windows on one side. Let's mirror those windows on the opposite side. Just like we did on the sidewalk, we're going to make them have the same starting and stop point. So I'm about 1 centimeter in, and I'm going to put a dot here. This is where my other dot is. Put a dot there. Here's another dot. And finally, this dot. Now I'm going to, with my T-square, I'm going to work on the right side. So I'm going to line it up with the center. I'm going to scoot it into the right just a little bit and draw my line segments once again. Working on the right side of the composition, I'm going to connect these lines to the right vanishing point. What am I going to connect? The dots. Dot at the top, dot at the bottom. Dot at the top, dot at the bottom. Flip my T-square over on its belly, put my pencil on the vanishing point on the right side. Now I'm going to rotate my T-square like it's a clock. Click, click. Oop, I skipped a step. I forgot to add my guideline. Let me go back on my last line and slide it over just a little bit and draw a light guideline. That's where my window lines are going to stop. Flip my T-square over on its belly, put a pencil vertically, slide my pencil to the T-square. Now I'm going to rotate, stop at the dot, draw a line, rotate down like a clock, stop at the dot, draw a line, again rotate, stop at the dot, draw a line, rotate my T-square, stop at the dot, draw a line. Now I'm going to draw over the lines that I'm keeping, these two segments here, and I'm going to erase the lines that were my guidelines. It's really important that after you have a line that you don't need anymore, you go ahead and erase that guideline so that you don't get confused when we start to trace this in Sharpie and add color. Okay, so that is a building in the center. What happens when there's a building to the left or the right? What do you do? So let's go through those steps. First, we're going to work on the right side of the composition. So we're going to take our building and we're going to make a center line, just like we did before. Now, this line is going to be shorter than our center line before, because as things go to the vanishing point, they get a little bit smaller. Also, as things go away in the distance, they go up the picture plane. They go up higher, so I can't have it lower. So I'm going to take my, I can do this. If you're not sure where everything is, you can draw a little guideline. Okay, it has to be shorter than that line. I'm going to scoot over to the right, and I'm going to make a vertical line. Okay, so this is going to be the center line of my next building. Now the center line of this building has to be shorter than the building it's next to, so I'm going to go ahead and shorten that. I'm going to put a dot at the top and the dot at the bottom. For this particular building, I'm going to let it go behind here, and then it's going to connect back to the vanishing point on the side. You can kind of see, the direction that it's heading. As buildings get closer to the vanishing point, what happens is they get smaller and smaller, and the angle becomes much more dramatic. Okay, so we have our center line. Now we're going to connect the left side of the building to the left vanishing point, and on the bottom as well. Okay, and now I'm going to give it a stop line. I'm going to put a guideline right about here, slight pencil line here. Now I'm going to connect to the right side, the right vanishing point to the right side, and the left vanishing point to the left side. Connect here. This vertical line is a keeper. And now I'm just going to go through and erase any line I do not need. All these extra guidelines need to go away as soon as I'm done with them. The horizon as it goes through the building, I no longer need. In order to make this building look realistic, you would add doors and windows, same as before. So let's say the door is on this side of the building, so I think it would be on this side of the building as well. So I'm going to work on the right side. I'm going to start with a vertical line, and then I'm going to put in a door. I'm going to do something a little bit different with the door this time. So I made a vertical line, putting a dot at the top. I'm going to make my door like a garage door for this building. This is going to be like a garage. So I put in a stop line for this is where this is going to end. And then I'm going to put my pencil on the vanishing point, line it up with a dot, and draw a line that I'm going to keep. And continue that. Now, because this is going to be a garage, I'm going to imagine that this is open. Okay? So I'm going to get rid of this line here. And then this is going to be really kind of neat. We'll put in a horizontal line there, so you can see where you can walk in to the garage. Super cool. Or drive in. Then what I would do too is I would eliminate that part of the curb. Okay, so having a variety of different buildings. Maybe you could add some windows on this side. Let's scoot over to this other side here and let's add another building. Same method, let's just draw a different type of building. This was a garage. Let's make like what would look like a skyscraper. So again, I'm going to start with a vertical line, and I'm going to make sure it's shorter than my original building. I'm going to make sure it's up higher on the picture plane because that's also important. And this time I'm going to make the building more narrow. This building is not going to touch or go behind the other one, so I can show you both ways of doing it. So what I've created is the center line first, C for center, and then I gave it a guideline. I told you I wanted to do a skinny building, so I'm going to recreate a skinny skyscraper. I made 2 vertical lines. I'm going to put a dot at the top and a dot at the bottom of this, so I know as soon as I put in the dots, I know the right side goes to the right vanishing point, and the top and the bottom. I know the left goes to the left vanishing point on both the top and the bottom. Once again, you can see as you are closer to the vanishing point, the angle becomes more dramatic. Let's keep those lines. Let's go over those verticals that we're keeping. Okay. And I can erase the horizon. Okay, so to make this look like a skyscraper, I'm going to put in skyscraper windows. So the windows on a skyscraper go edge to edge, but of course it still needs a door. So let's go ahead and add a vertical line. We're going to empty out, it seems like they empty out towards the sidewalk, not towards this alley. So I'm going to make a vertical line right about there. I'm going to make, again, a large door. This time let's do a double door. So now I've made my vertical line, and then I'm going to draw that line back to the vanishing point on the left side because I'm working on the left side, and then I'm going to draw another vertical to make the door a little bit interesting. Divide it in half. Okay. To make it look like glass, I'm just going to put little dashes, make it look like glass. Now I'm going to grid this building to just make it look like a skyscraper, look like an actual skyscraper. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure, and I'm going to make intervals. So I'm going to have lines that are evenly spaced. That's what an interval is, evenly spaced line. So you don't have to measure, you don't have to do it exact, but I'm making them 1 inch apart. Each of these dots are 1 inch apart. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make measurements this way. Now as things go towards the vanishing point, they're going to get smaller. So just like we did with the sidewalk, my first block is going to be this big, my next block is going to be a little bit more narrow, and then finally my other block will be a little bit skinnier. So I'm putting three dots on this side, 3 dots on that side. Now the dots that are vertical are super duper easy. They're just going to stay vertical. And again, these get narrower, closer together as you go towards the vanishing point. This is a skyscraper with windows from edge to edge. Next step. Now we're going to do the other line. So, super simple. Right side goes to the right vanishing point, left goes to the left vanishing point. Here I go. I'm going to line it up with the right side, draw a line, rotate my T-square. Rotate my T-square. Rotate my T-square. Every angle is different. As I get closer or on the horizon, it's going to be a horizontal line. And last one. Okay, next side. Same thing, guys. Left side to the left vanishing point. Left. Left. And last one, left. So now we have like a skyscraper type of building. Now what would happen if you wanted to put a building behind? You're going to have to build a number of buildings. We're looking at like 8. So to put a building behind, what you're going to do is you're going to start with a vertical line. You can put it wherever you want. Vertical line. This is a building in the background. Vertical line. I like to mark it with a center. Put a dot at the top. I know right side right, vanishing point, left side left. The reason I mark it with a C for center is because the back buildings start with 3 lines, and it's hard to remember which one you drew first and which one's going to indicate the center line. So I marked it with this dot, I put a C for center, and then I made 2 parallel vertical lines to indicate where the building's going to stop. Simply, just like before, right side goes to the right vanishing point. Boom. Left side goes to the left vanishing point. Draw in the last verticals. How easy is that? Another building in seconds. Erase all of the guidelines that we don't need anymore, and erase the C because that we don't need anymore. There you have it, a garage and 3 buildings in perspective.